In other words, a hero was sometimes this out of control, overpowering thing that could harm his friends as much as his enemies. Heracles, in his madness, killed his wife and children.
Mm-hmm.
So cultures tried to explain why you had some people that seemed different from others. They were often larger. The Norse had the berserkers, who were very famously the guys that fought without armor and just went completely insane in battle. But if you read the sagas, these are generally great big guys that were big bullies, very violent people who were bad neighbors and who very often committed homicides, not just like going off and killing in war, but killing their neighbors and stuff like that. So with a lot of,
I guess they didn't have any fences.
They would use things like streams and fences. They tear them down.
Yeah.
They say a good fence makes a good neighbor.
Yeah. If they respect the fence.
Well,
They
they took pride in their walls too. You see, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about ancient history. Like when it came to like city worship, people honestly, that's what the Babylonians that they loved their cities more than they loved anything else. It showed the grandeur of the human, you know what I mean, human beings, and they took pride into their cities and the walls that they built around them. So during the time of the ancient times, it was ceremonial whenever you ransacked the city and you brought their walls down. You know what I mean? When you raised their walls, that was symbolic.
Yeah. The walls defined a place. The Romans had something they called terminus est. This is the line. They're very big on borderline conditions. And of course, I was talking the other day about the Romans every year would have, or I think it was like every year, every 4 years, they would do a sacrifice to rededicate the walls of Rome, where literally hundreds of cattle, thousands of sheep and goats and stuff were killed. The whole city feasted for days, but it was also seen as very important to reconsecrate the walls, the boundaries. That separated us from them, the chaos from order, wilderness from society.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, we're all like, oh man, wilderness, that's so cool. Not back then. Wilderness meant you starved, froze to death, or were eaten by wolves. You did not want to be in the wilderness. You wanted order. It's very, very nice to have order in life.
And see, that's why the walls of Jericho was very important in the Bible too, is because that's what that was a representation of. It was the fall of the walls of Jericho and the symbolism of how they walked around the wall and they played their trumpets.
Yeah. Yes, circumambulation, going around, that was a way of encircling. You're making a wall around their walls. You're conquering their wall.
Mm-hmm.
In a sense.
For some reason, I can only picture Jason Biggs from American Pie dancing around, tooting on his horn.
There you go. So I was thinking of a story about a guy about fences making good neighbors. And there was this was like from the sagas, I forget which one, but there was this guy who was a berserker. He was an idiot. He was a real asshole. He was always like pestering his neighbors, and they would go and he would like steal cattle or use other people's grazing land. And people would try to get him to stop, and he would fight with them. So he was constantly being taken to court, constantly. Nobody would say nice. He was always being dragged in. And he had a neighbor, and he was always, pestering his neighbor, using his grazing lands, maybe like grabbing one of his cows. So the neighbor went to him and said, look, nobody likes you. You have no friends because you're a really bad neighbor. Why don't you be a good neighbor to me? And then the next time you have to go to court, which will probably be soon, I will stand up and speak on your side. And the berserker said, okay, that sounds good. And so he never molested that one neighbor. They were always on very good terms. And whenever this guy was called to court, as he was every year, this guy would stand up for him and say, hey, he's a good neighbor to me. And he could say that honestly, and it got the guy out of a lot of trouble. Well, the guy was getting old and he was dying, and he said to his wife, look, you better sell this land the minute I die, because I'm not going to be here anymore, and this guy's going to become a really bad neighbor again. And our only son is a useless coal biter. Their son was what they called a coal biter. Coal biter was a guy that he just wanted to sit near the fire all winter and all summer. He didn't want to go out and do anything. He didn't go out and fight. He didn't take part in anything. He was just this kid. And he was kind of like the kid today that's 40 years old and just wants to play video games in the basement. And
Hey, that's not nice talking about me like that.
hey, well, he gets better. So this kid's kind of autistic. So anyway, so the
So
dad
am I.
dies, and immediately the neighbor starts being an asshole, and he starts grabbing stuff. So the woman sends one of her hired hands over to get the cows back. Well, the berserker just kills him dead. He can do that. He's a bondsman without much, but really he should like pay up. So finally, the mother goes to the kid and says, "You know what? I wish I'd had a daughter. I could have married her to a man, and I'd have a man around here." Just slapped him. Well, the guy suddenly woke up, and this was a real autistic guy. He didn't behave like Norsemen are supposed to. He just went over to talk to the guy. Didn't bring a weapon or anything. Just went over and said, "I want you to, I want you to give us our stuff back." It's like, "Nah, it's mine now." He says, "No, I don't want you to." No. So the kid just picks up a shovel and kills him. Just kills him dead, boom, right there. Walks back. And that was his mark from then on. And when we got home, they were like, "Wow, you're a dranger, you're a man, but you know what? You're an outlaw now too. You better get out of town and stuff." And that was his story. He'd go somewhere and he'd be like really quiet. Nobody would mess. And then they start making fun of him. And then he just come out of nowhere and just become this killing machine. It was funny because eventually he got outlawed, and he went and this was like, they didn't have movies. This was like their version of sitting and watching the Terminator. So he goes off and he builds a little wooden fort somewhere in this remote fjord, and his enemies finally track him down. They're going to attack him and kill him because he's killed all these guys. People are mad at him, and they're trying to burn his place down. And all of a sudden, water starts spurting out of the walls. They're like, "Oh, it's magic!" So they leave and they talk to this guy. Smart says, "You know what? Listen, I bet there's a spring behind his fort. Go and see if there's any pipes, cut them off. That's what's happening there." So they go, "Aha!" So they go back and they besiege him again. They try to set the place on fire. The water comes out, but they'd gone behind the fort. They found the water pipes and they cut them off. So suddenly it's like, "Ha, it's going to burn." So they're all dancing in front of the place burning. All of a sudden, this is in the saga, the whole front wall of the hall drops to the ground, and a giant ship on wheels comes rolling out down the hill, knocks everybody over, goes off into the water, splash, and they start rowing, and he escapes. I've never heard of anything like that before. 20th century movies of something like that happen. And I just imagine all these Norse guys sitting around a fire like late at night, envisioning this giant ship burning, going through this fire and rolling people. I'd love to film it. I think it was their equivalent of an action film. Okay, I don't know why I started talking about that, but I'm done now.
Well, I didn't know you had such prejudices.
Well, you see the autistic guy, don't trust him. He suddenly grab a shovel and start,
You're totally describing me right now. I feel naked.
You need a shovel.
He probably is. Don't listen to him. He probably is naked.
That's fine.
Oh, that's the part you want to focus on. Being a potential serial killer here in the future.
Roger, I got a little secret for you. Roger, underneath our clothes, we're all naked.
We're all naked.
I've been trying to be honorary with Naroki about Canada and about the cannibals that are there.
Jeez.
And
it says Canada doesn't mean it's cannibals.
There he goes again.
The country came from.
Last
night,
I finally was able to pull up the goodies, dude. Like I found information of some of the cannibals that were in Canada, and I found out that a guy was a cannibal who ate another person on a Greyhound bus.
Oh my God!
Well, that's Greyhound. That could have been anyone. Any nationality would be a Greyhound.
No, okay. Keyword Greyhound. 2 keywords: Greyhound bus. Okay, like if you're gonna eat a human, you would think that you would do it in some personal private area. But no,
like a Trailways bus, yeah.
Was it a disused bus, or was it actually a bus that was taking people, ladies to?
Wait, are you talking about this Asian guy that just murdered somebody on a Greyhound bus?
He was eating
didn't
him.
Actually eat him.
I heard
somebody.
I heard he was eating them.
Well, you would hear that. I mean,
What's his name?
His last name was Lee, L-I.
Yeah, no, he didn't eat him. Jeez.
Yeah, I told you, Roger.
Please don't eat people.
Canada doesn't mean it's cannibals. It's just cannibals.
Conspiracy.
Well, I mean, it just, Word is that he was eating them, but like,
Oh man, this was a news story. There's no way that somebody could just
Maybe he
make
stole a
up.
sandwich or something.
somebody type it up, Google it, and
Yeah,
see.
how was he eating? What, he was just sitting there with a pot of wine, some buffer beans.
Well, I mean, you got me. It's like how I wouldn't. It probably isn't cannibalism because
Tim
like
McLean, Tim McLean,
yeah,
Tim McLean was the guy that got killed
Oh, jeez.
by that Lee guy.
but they didn't.
Uh,
He didn't eat none of them. He just. I'm gonna have to apologize to Naroki, I guess. I'd be like,
Why you guys don't bother fact checking each other?
not on the red pill, dude. We don't do no fact checking on the red pill nation, dude, at all. It's like that's like that's like one of the most hardcore, softcore, freaking.
Okay, this is what I'm seeing here. I just asked the LLM. I said, "Are there more cannibals in Canada than other countries?" And it responded, "There is no evidence that Canada has more cannibals than other countries, while Canada has been associated with high-profile cases involving cannibalism." And here's the big one, such as Vince Lee, who murdered and partially consumed Timothy McLean on a Greyhound bus in 2008. These are isolated criminal acts, not widespread practices. Cannibalism in Canada is not a cultural norm.
I would disagree.
Yeah.
But it is.
AI is dumb.
But in legal terms, cannibalism itself is not explicitly illegal in Canada.
What?
However, the acts that typically precede it, murder, assault, or desecration of a body, are serious crimes. The absence of a specific law against eating human flesh does not imply acceptance. It reflects the fact that such acts are already covered under broader
Which AI is this?
this
So
is
if the body is already
Brave.
shut off,
so whatever
Fire.
Brave uses.
let's say somebody had an accident and they lost a arm. It's illegal to actually just pick up that arm and start munching on it.
I knew you were gonna go there the moment you said just lost your arm. Well, you know, I mean, the thing of it is too, like you gotta freaking spread it out. You just can't freaking like eat your own freaking arm. You know what I mean? Like hand it over to your buddy and say, "Here, have a taste," or you know.
Well, that was Terry Pratchett, where they were in the fortress so long that they had to resort to cannibalism. They all cut off a bit of it. It's like, well the guy's going, "Oh, it's like, well, we didn't eat our own. That would be weird."
Hey,
Eat each other's. It's like, no, you don't eat your own leg. You know, you give
just
your leg.
hand it to somebody else.
Yeah, just pass it around. And,
We were talking about that earlier. It's like that's bad taste to be eating your own foot or eating your own leg. Like
I think they each took a big hunk out of their butts or something. Passed it around in the story. I forget. I read all those
There you
Terry
go.
Pratchett books at one time, but I don't remember which was in which.
Yeah, get the most useless part of your body away first, right?
well, remember we were having this conversation because
Eating some ass.
Tan seriously thinks it's a good idea to drive up to the Blue Mountains during a freaking snowstorm. As an Oriental dude in Canada, that is not a good idea.
I wouldn't want to drive anywhere in a snowstorm. I dislike snow more and more.
I've gone to worse places than Blue Mountain. I went up to Quebec City, right? Near the edge of where the native people live. So yeah, that's.
Well, tell us about it.
Look out for the Wendigo psychosis.
Well, that's that was the whole deal behind like the cannibal thing, because like